I'm joined in the studio by Charlotte Lynch, LBC's reporter, who has more detail on O.J. Simpson. The news has just broken that he's died at the age of 76. Charlotte.
Yeah, his family have put out a statement confirming that on April the 10th, he succumbed to his battle with cancer. They say that he was surrounded by his children and grandchildren. And during this time of transition, the Simpson family have said, we ask that you please respect their wishes for privacy and grace. So that news just breaking in the last 15 minutes or so that O.J. Simpson has died following a battle with cancer. He was 76 years of age, of course, known first of all for being an NFL player, an American football player, but then infamously that massive murder trial that was a major television event in the US, of course, following the murders of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman. And that police chase that you may remember, many listeners may remember, that infamous police chase that lasted an hour and a half, just 2 days after that murder. That was on the 17th of June, 1994, just 2 days after that, after he failed to turn himself in to the Los Angeles Police Department. That was televised, watched by millions across the world, even, not just the United States, but all across the world, as police
and relatively speaking, it was in the early days of wall-to-wall news that we now it's just there, isn't it? It's the background wall-to-wall news now. Yeah. And I mean, the world was gripped by that chase.
It was an absolute spectacle. Weird. And then so was his murder trial. I mean, throughout that, he stood by and he continued to protest his innocence and strongly denied that he had anything to do with the murders of his ex-wife and her friend. Vehemently stood by his innocence, said he was absolutely 100% not guilty. And he was represented by this team of lawyers that were, dubbed the dream team of lawyers. Probably the most famous of them, Robert Kardashian, the father of Kim Kardashian and her sisters Kourtney and Khloe as well, who are of course now major reality stars. And that murder trial lasted for 9 months. Again, televised, it absolutely gripped the nation. Again, the world. It's now been the subject of several documentaries. There was a huge drama made about it as well. David Schwimmer playing Robert Kardashian in that drama, and everybody was talking about it at the time. And he was acquitted on the 3rd of October, 1995. So he has been living, of course, a bit more of having a little bit more of a lower profile since then.
It was broadly, I mean, he was acquitted, but he was broadly disbelieved by the wider population. I mean, that's neither here nor there now because he's dead. But, I don't know whether you ever saw this. It's probably when you were a kid, actually. But Ruby Wax had this fantastic series of interviews where I think it was just called Ruby Meets. And one of them was when she met OJ. And he is a man who clearly liked to control people around him, especially women. And if you haven't seen it, it's an absolutely superb piece of television. And the speed of Ruby Wax's thinking and responding to O.J. Simpson's attempts to control her is off the charts impressive. But I won't ruin the end of it for people, because the end of the documentary, he literally shows that he's a psycho. He just shows it.
And as you say, of course he's now died, and that confirmation coming, he's died of cancer. But no doubt there will be so many people coming out to say what they really thought about that. But, a lot of people did say at the time it was only because he had such a good team of lawyers who managed to manipulate the jury.
And the police made a mistake about the placement of evidence,
yes, they did, of course,
The glove.
Yeah, the glove,
famous
of
glove.
course, that was it. I'm going to go and watch that, the documentary or the drama again. I was absolutely gripped by that drama. I think it was a Netflix one. I'm going to have to go remind myself. But I mean, we're just seeing now again, pictures of that police chase. That in itself was just quite incredible, really, to see.
But the talked yesterday on the programme about domestic violence, and we talk about it a lot. And the danger with stories like his, and the danger with that live coverage of the chase, and then the trial and the dramatisation of the trial, it was. I'm not saying saying don't talk about it. Of course you talk about it. It's there to be talked about. But the people to remember in it all are Nicole Brown Simpson, who you've mentioned, on Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman. And I know that Nicole's family attempted a civil case, didn't they, after the criminal trial, ended in his acquittal. But he still tried always in a narcissistic way to make it all about him. So let's end our conversation with the names of those two people, Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman.